Later, a military autopsy called his death a homicide and said he died because of blunt force trauma to the torso, complicated by compromised respiration.
How would you characterize the quality of the autopsy?
I think the autopsy was well done and well documented.
We asked Dr. Edmund Donahue, the chief medical examiner of Cook County, Illinois, and president of the American Academy of Forensic Scientists, to review al-Jamadi's autopsy with us. In a hotel room in Chicago, we examined dozens of photographs showing the Iraqi's body stretched out on the stainless steel autopsy tray. His right eye is blackened. There's a laceration under that eye with a bandage on it. His nose is bent to the side, and there's a cut on his lip. There are also multiple bruises on al-Jamadi's feet, thighs, and arms.
None of them look very serious. They're absolutely consistent with the story that's being told, but they don't look like they're responsible for the cause of death.
Al-Jamadi's most significant injuries are not visible in the autopsy photos. He had 5 broken ribs, 3 on one side, 2 on the other. There are no bruises in that area, leading military medical examiners to say that the fractures were probably caused by a slow, deliberate application of force, such as someone kneeling on al-Jamadi's chest. Dr. Donahue believes a combination of 3 things killed al-Jamadi, beginning with the position in which he was shackled. It doesn't matter, he thinks, that al-Jamadi may have been able to kneel. It still would have been very painful to breathe as those broken rib ends rasped against each other.
This also is a position that makes it very difficult to breathe because you're suspended in a very awkward position. When you combine it with having the hood over your head and having the broken ribs, it's fairly clear that this death was caused by asphyxia because he couldn't breathe properly.
Dr. Donahue's conclusions are in line with the autopsy, but it remains unclear where in al-Jamadi's chain of custody those 5 ribs were broken. When the stove fell, when the SEAL's body slammed him into the Humvee, or when the CIA interrogator applied pressure to his chest.
I'm fairly certain that if they'd examined him, they would have found out that he had broken ribs, and I would hope that they wouldn't have tortured him.
Donahue says at the very least, the CIA should have made sure of al-Jamadi's condition before putting him in a stress position for further interrogation. There were clear indications almost from the time of capture that something may have been seriously wrong with al-Jamadi. Labored breathing, periodic lapses in consciousness, his own remarks about dying, many of which were interpreted as fakery. But it's also possible, Donahue says, that those ribs were broken in that shower stall at Abu Ghraib. Military officials who investigated the Abu Ghraib scandal made it clear that at the time of al-Jamadi's interrogation, the CIA was playing outside the rules. Here's what the August 2004 report by Major General George Fay had to say.
CIA detention and interrogation practices led to a loss of accountability, abuse, reduced interagency cooperation, and an unhealthy mystique that further poisoned the atmosphere at Abu Ghraib. Speculation and resentment grew over the lack of personal responsibility of some people being above the laws and regulations. The resentment contributed to the unhealthy environment that existed at Abu Ghraib.
Several former CIA officials interviewed by NPR said that the CIA went into Afghanistan and Iraq without a cadre of experienced interrogators. One former CIA operative said scornfully, they got their ideas about interrogation from Hollywood movies. Al-Jamadi was captured as the mushrooming insurgency in Iraq took American officials by surprise. The pressure was on for actionable intelligence, and from up the chain of command came the notice, the rules are relaxed, the gloves are off.
And I think there was confusion. And I think that's what was regrettable, what is regrettable, and what needs to be straightened out.
Fred Hitz was Inspector General for the CIA from 1990 to 1998 and now teaches at Princeton University. He says the rules about treatment of detainees during interrogation must be clear and inflexible.
Given the tension, the strain, the pressure they're under in the field, and this point that it was clear we were at the beginning of the insurgency, we needed to know some things. The notion is we're not getting enough information from you. I mean, the tendency then, if it's believe that there is some flexibility in the system, it will lead to abuses, bound to.
Human rights groups and some members of Congress have expressed frustration about the slow pace of the CIA's response in this and other cases of alleged detainee abuse by the agency. In an Army trial scheduled for December, the agency will again be under scrutiny for its role in the death of an Iraqi general who was stuffed into a sleeping bag and died, according to the autopsy, of asphyxia due to smothering and chest compression. John McChesney, NPR News.
The CIA and Navy SEALs were allegedly involved in other instances of prisoner abuse around the time al-Jamadi died. John McChesney discusses those cases and the CIA's allegations against al-Jamadi at our website, npr.org.